Alright, good evening TPS, COK and ICT. I made this video as an additional instruction on how we're going to fulfill the module. Now for the purposes of knowledge, of course, we don't want to project the idea that we're just creating and doing the research without finding its significance and trying to understand concepts here. Okay, so let me just go first here. First, I would like to explain first that your strand is specifically following four pillars. When I say four pillars, we are following a four direction. We are going to fulfill this one, the background of the study. Ito muna. Next, after the background of the study, we will go now to the statement of the problem. After the statement of the problem, we will go to the scope and delimitation of the study. And after that, we're going to go for conceptual framework. Now these pillars is for the purposes to direct, guide you, and gradually direct you to which we are going. Now that we've learned our roadmap, we know where we're heading. Let's first dwell on the background of the study. The background of the study, how are you going to accomplish this? I already distributed and defined your strand, your particular group of which you will be belong. So assuming that this is COK, okay, binubuksan ko yung COK, this is the titles of which is already distributed, and each titles your names are already listed here to which you belong. That is COK. And for ICT, you also at TPS, the titles are here, is already defined, and the members are listed below. And then as we move forward, also the ICT, the titles are all here, and then the names of the people included here is also listed and given already. Now that you realize where you belong, your title, you copy and paste that, and you will be writing that there. And who will do this? Actually, it's the group leader. So I will be sending soft copies to you. Meanwhile, I will also be doing this on my own. Right after that you have learned or realized your research title, you will now construct the background of the study. Ang tanong, bakit sir kasi kailangan bakit we have same title? It's because all the things that we will be doing is correlated. Pare-pareho. Ibig sabihin, magkaka-link, connected, at merong reason why they are um, similar, I mean not similar, but why they are regulated, bakit naka-assign yung mga topics, and bakit magkakasunod yan, because everything is connected and linked here. So that part of knowledge is something that you should realize and understand. Now, each of these concepts, each of these pillars are divided actually in 5 days. You're given 5 days to accomplish them. You're given 5 days to do them, and you're given the days to conceptualize and draft and everything you will do to come up with those products. The question right now is, how am I going to start this? How I'm going to do it? Now I'm able to send actually guide questions, specifically this one. If I will open particularly here the COK, just right a while ago, I'm able to send you here a particular guide questions of which it will guide you gradually on what to write, on what will you going to tell us a story or tell us in the background of the study. And this is true to all. For TPS, I also provided here, okay, nakita niyan, di ba? For group 5, standby, I will be sending the photo. And for ICT, I haven't written something there, but sooner or later, I will be sending a photo of which there will be also a guide question. The question is, what is a guide question? Guide questions are intended to guide the student's way of thinking. Let me just go back, okay? For example, ito. Let's dwell here. Okay, listen carefully and be attentive. Guide questions. Guide questions are intended to guide the student's way of thinking. It suggests what to write and accomplish. It defines the plan of which the writer will direct his own language. It is to trigger the mind what to write. It's to inspire the mind what to write. So guide questions are not necessarily, remove the word dash. Guide questions are not necessarily mean you need to answer the questions. You may or may not. So it's up to your discretion if you like to answer the question or not. So long as you're able to tell us what is the research all about via this question. So, ano yung mga guide question? Example, the title is the best practices for tourism development and promotion in endorsing the tourism industry of La Trinidad. So here are the guide questions. What is the importance of tourism? What are the contributions of tourism? What are the negative and positive effects of tourism? What are the practices of the different places across the world and the country to preserve and promote their tourism, their tourist attractions? Where is La Trinidad? Tell us about the place, culture, and people. Tell us about the places. It's standing in this economic landscape in the country. So, what is La Trinidad? Is it known for this one? Is it known for that? Is it known for this particular matter? And all of these guide questions will guide you totally on what exactly you're going to write on the background of the study. The question also here, listen carefully, what is the background of the study? Let's go to your module. Which module am I referring to? I am referring here actually this one. The second batch modules. So it says there PR2. You try to check it out. It's actually dated week 4, September 14, supposedly, but we will adjust the date, okay? That will now be September 23. The question is that, objective, ano ang gagawin natin? Follow the essential guidelines in writing the background of the study. Assume responsibility for a purposeful understanding of the concepts and write the background of the study. Ngayon, meron tayong guideline. Alam ko na nung binasa niyo ito, nagtataka ko anong ibig sabihin ng mga yan. Okay, let's go dwell here. First, sabi niya, discussion of the problem in general in the specific situation as observed and experienced by the researcher. When we say general, we are going to look into first what is the current say of the world about your topic. What is the current situations or what of the world about your topic? So assuming probably. I'd like to go here. This one. Behind the scenes, in search of the struggles of the kitchen crews of local cafes situated in La Trinidad. Very specific, it defines where and who are the people that we're studying. Kitchen crews where in Trinidad. How am I going to study this? First, you have to understand first, what is the current or what is the research, what does research say about kitchen crews, their struggles, and what are their probably problems inside or in the kitchen. And there are a lot of articles that will tell us that kitchen crews, they are the ones who are experiencing most of the problems. They are overtiming. There are many struggles emotionally, physically, economically, and financially. And there are many articles in the website of which we can get some infos. And that is when we're able to tap the international knowledge or the so-called outside knowledge in the country. So probably you can say in this country, in the United States or in Europe or in China, research news and articles say that the current situation of the kitchen crews are struggling. Now let's try to prove that. Now of course you're going to open Google. All right, let's try to check Google and try to see if this one exists, and definitely it does. Okay, so for example, kitchen. I'm going to search here, kitchen crews. Kitchen problem, we say problems of kitchen crews. So if you try to search that, okay, 8 everyday problems that the fast food service industry experience. Oh, see, the dark side of the kitchen, and there are many stories that is not being told there. 4 reasons kitchen floor crews don't get along. Waitress problem, 20 things that all waitresses encounter. As a chef, what challenges have you encountered inside? Dirty restaurant secrets of the kitchen crew won't tell you. Working as a part-time team, working in the food service. So we have many numerous articles that will expose to us the current situations of different countries, people, and culture, and what is going on in their cafes. Now, after targeting, ngayon nalaman natin na ganun ang setup. Dito ka sa Trinidad, do we have any research that will tell us that kitchen crews are experiencing a lot of things? And that is when you try to study and try to find an article that will tell us that there is. If not in La Trinidad, probably merely in the Philippines only. Try to look for it if there is a current situation or paper that tells us that there are experiences of kitchen crews in the Philippines in particular. Tapos sabi niya dito, concepts and ideas related to the problem including the clarification of important terminologies. So, related ang mga concepts at ideas sa mga problema na ating we're trying to address. So, dapat they are correlated, linked, tapos there is a reason why we're studying them. Further, discussion of the existing or present conditions and what is aimed to be in the future, or the gap to be filled by the researcher. Discuss of the existing present conditions and what to be aimed in the future gap. This is absolutely very vague actually. It doesn't simply say that by merely reading it, we get to realize what's the meaning of that. But to tell you, A research will tell us what are the unexplored informations, knowledge that the research were unable to explore. So, ang gagawin natin dito, discussion of the existing and present conditions, meaning the problems, meaning the conditions, meaning the encounters, meaning the experiences of the people who are in this business, who are in this industry, and what is aimed to be in the future. Now that you've realized their problems, what is your aim? You will tell us now that with all of that being said, this background of the study targets to explore the conditions and chef of this and try to re-study again what is happening only seen in Trinidad. Dito lang sa Trinidad, ano kayang nangyayari? Ganon. And then, let's move forward. You present the rationale of the study. Write the reason why it's necessary to conduct the study. This is when you tell us the reason. Why do you want to study the probably the life of kitchen crews that is not the challenges? Why do you want to know the challenges of kitchen crews in the cafe? Tell us the reason why, and you will be telling us in this reason that probably um, you will tell us that kitchen crews are the most not seen or hindi siya laging napapansing branch of science. And then because of that, with that information and knowledge, you would like to explore what exactly is happening. Upon maybe probably the realization of this, you intend to present this to anybody else, a politician or maybe a business, the owner, to do something about it, to compensate them fairly, to do something to solve a problem, to guide them and to give them their benefits and so that they will be economically supported despite the workload that they are currently having. So at least we get to compensate them too. Okay? Tapos sabi to, write the basic literature foundation of, or the historical background of the study. Start from the international context down to the local or personal circumstance. This refers actually to the yes. What does the international context say? The foundation is the problems, research that is similar to your research. You lay the foundations, give us informations, news articles, publications in journals that will support and that would also as well agree with your research. And that is when you look for it on how you're going to support your foundation. So yun. Discuss the setting of the problem. Probably you may or may not discuss the setting. Where will this be happening? What place? What is that place? Is the place located here? What is the location? What is the physical attributes, the physical face, or the what does it look like? For example, if you want to say that the research will happen in Trinidad, you will tell us that La Trinidad is considered the salad bowl of the country. It's the center for business and economics, education, health, and care. There are over 150 populations in this one. And that being said, probably there are many cafes scattered in the place. And because of that, there are many cultural significance of these cafes, of which they will talk about the cultural identity of its culture, like the Igorot, of which most cafes you see photos or probably carvings of Igorot artifacts and cultural photos and many other things. So you tell us about the place. Give us a knowledge, give us information about that place by probably telling us the good things, the economical conditions, the culture, the people, the language, and everything. And so that is when the background, and so that at least readers get to know where is Trinidad and what is they can picture what is that Trinidad look like. Or say, for example, you get to read uh, probably, for example, in my case, there was a research in Mindanao in Sultan Kudarat. And one of the descriptions is that it's abundant not only in fruits, but economic, business, health, and education. We thought that Sultan Kudarat is like a province, but it's not actually. It's economically able, and that is when we are educated. That is when we get to realize that that place is the center for business, commerce, for business, for health, and many other things. So we get to realize what is the place all about. In the wrong perception that we know, sometimes they are get to be removed, nawawala. Kaya magandang i-expose nyo kung ano ang mukha ng Trinidad at Benguet because we don't know there are many people who are reading about the research. Now, discuss how serious is the chosen research problems. When I say discuss the serious, you tell us really how really important this research is all about. Why do we need to pursue it and for what reason? And you don't need to please us with many wonderful words, but please us with content, okay? And then you may write the general objective. Write the general objectives of the research problem. Usually this is found at the last. Do not put this in the very beginning. You put that in the last. Meaning to say, after all it's being said and done, after it's being narrated, told, and everything, You will now tell us, with all of this being said, the research now aims to. These are the objectives. Sometimes objective is the same as SOP. Therefore, you will expect that there are many repetitions of ideas, but you are going to present them in a different attack of language. So probably you have stated the SOP, and you will going to state that again in many many parts of your research, but you are going to present that in a different way, in a different attack of language, of which it will appear new to us, but it's just a repetition of what was said earlier. So that's the meaning of the background of the study. So I hope that you're able to grasp this one. I appreciate that so much, and thank you very much. So I think that would be the end of my presentation, and I will be pausing.